The Gobi Desert, adventure, epic landscapes. They forgot to mention the relentless sun, biting wind, and the risk of getting spectacularly lost. Turns out the scenery is mostly sand, rocks, and more sand. My idea of a holiday usually involves fewer opportunities to test my dehydration limits. But here I was, stepping out of a rickety vehicle, the wind already trying to steal my hat. Character building in the most uncomfortable way possible. They call it one of the last great wildernesses. It feels like it's been left alone because most sensible creatures decide anywhere else is preferable. Here be absolutely nothing for miles. The air felt thin, dry, and carried the scent of dust that's probably been around since the dinosaurs. The scale of the place is immense. The horizon just keeps going, daring you to try and reach it. It's a humbling experience, a reminder of how small you are. So with a deep breath, I took my first steps into the Gobi. The silence was profound, broken only by the wind. The adventure had begun, and the Gobi doesn't wait for you to be ready. The Gobi's minimalist landscape features endless gravel plains and dramatic rock formations. The flaming cliffs glow red at sunset. It's beautiful, in a desolate, don't break down here sort of way. It feels like being on another planet. You drive for hours. The scale is deceptive. What looks like a short stroll can turn into an epic trek. Then there are the Kongoran Els, the singing dunes. Climbing these dunes is a special kind of torture, but the view from the top is breathtaking. The Gobi taunts you with visions of sparkling lakes. It's the desert's way of having a laugh, all part of the Gobi's unique, character-eroding charm. The Gobi isn't teeming with wildlife, but what's here are survival specialists. Take the Gobi jerboa, a tiny desert rodent that looks like a miniature kangaroo with oversized ears. Cute, until you realize it can outrun you and survive on almost no water. They mostly appear at night, darting about like furry little ghosts, probably mocking your tent. Then there are the wild Bactrian camels, majestic, two-humped, and rarer than pandas. Spotting one is a thrill. Getting too close might earn you a look of pure disdain. They roam with an air of ancient wisdom, as if they know all the desert's secrets and aren't sharing. Reptiles scuttle among the rocks perfectly camouflaged, probably wondering what the giant noisy ape is doing here. I'm fairly certain I saw a snake or two, though they vanished so quickly it might have been a mirage. The insects are a constant presence. Beetles, ants, and ever-present flies that view any exposed skin as an invitation. And birds, eagles and vultures soar overhead, circling with patient grace, maybe keeping an eye on struggling tourists. Seeing a lammergeier drop a bone from a great height is a reminder that nature here is raw and unsentimental. Every creature is a testament to resilience, or just plain stubbornness. Much like myself, come to think of it. Out here, survival is the name of the game. Meeting the local nomads is essential. These are people who don't just visit the desert, they thrive in it. Their hospitality is legendary, usually involving an invitation into their jur, a traditional round felt tent. Inside, it's surprisingly spacious, beautifully decorated, and cool compared to the inferno outside. The welcome is warm, even if your Mongolian only covers hello and thank you. The first offering, su te tsai, salty milk tea. It's an acquired taste, but you sip politely. Then comes arag, fermented mare's milk. Fizzy, sour, and with a kick like a startled horse. Refusing is impolite. Drinking it earns you respect and maybe a very unsettled stomach. Communication is a mix of gestures, smiles, and the occasional shared word. Children gather, fascinated by your strange clothes and gadgets. Elders watch with quiet dignity, faces etched with stories of a life lived in harmony with this harsh land. Their knowledge of the environment dwarfs anything you could learn from a book or GPS. Leaving a nomad camp, you feel gratitude and mild bewilderment. You've shared food, laughter, and a glimpse into a way of life that's both ancient and resilient. They face challenges daily that would make most city dwellers weep, yet there's a profound sense of community and contentment, and you're very, very grateful for bottled water. Let's talk about food in the Gobi. If you're expecting Michelin stars, adjust your expectations dramatically. The diet is built around survival, not haute cuisine. Meat and dairy are staples. Lots of mutton, boiled, stewed, dumplings, broth. If it bleats, it's probably on the menu. After a few days, you start to suspect even the air tastes faintly of mutton. My kingdom for a salad. One memorable dish, boudog, goat or marmot cooked from the inside out with hot stones. The result is tender, smoky, and lingers on your palate. Whether it's a culinary highlight or a test of your stomach depends on your preferences, and your stomach lining. Then there's arul, dried milk curds. Sour, designed to last for ages, and surprisingly addictive once you get past the initial shock. Think of them as the Gobi's answer to energy bars, only with a higher chance of chipping a tooth. Vegetables are rare. Potatoes or onions in a stew are a treat. Fresh greens are like gold dust. After a week I started dreaming about broccoli. My body, used to variety, was sending desperate signals. Every meal became an adventure. What exactly am I eating, and will I regret this later? But you eat what's available, you're grateful, and you try not to think too much about cholesterol. It's all part of the rich tapestry of Gobi life. A very meaty, very dairy-rich tapestry. Survival cuisine at its finest, and yes, you'll miss vegetables more than you ever thought possible, but you'll never forget the taste of the Gobi. Ah, the Bactrian camel. The iconic two-humped ship of the desert. Essential for any authentic Gobi experience, or so they said. What they didn't mention, these ships can be grumpy, stubborn, and spit with shocking accuracy. Getting onto a camel is an art form. They kneel, you clamber awkwardly between the humps, and then, with a series of lurches, you're suddenly 8 feet off the ground. The gait is hypnotic. Camels are masters of passive resistance. If they don't want to go somewhere, you're in for a battle of wills. They operate on camel time, slower and more deliberate than human time. Patience is a requirement for keeping your sanity, and avoiding a face full of camel saliva. Despite their quirks, there's something majestic about trekking through the desert on camelback. The silence lets you soak in the vastness. You can't help but respect these hardy animals, perfectly adapted to this brutal environment. Sand. In the Gobi, it's everywhere. In your hair, your ears, your food, your teeth. It finds its way into sealed bags and camera lenses with impressive determination. You wake up coated in a fine layer of it, a gritty reminder of where you are. After a few days you stop fighting it and accept you'll be part sand for the duration. Then there are the sandstorms, walls of sand whipped up by ferocious winds, turning day into an eerie orange twilight. The first sign is a distant haze. Then the wind howls, and suddenly you're in the middle of it. All you can do is hunker down and wait. It's a humbling experience, a demonstration of nature's raw force. Navigating in these conditions is a challenge. My internal compass spun uselessly. The GPS was a lifesaver when it worked. When it didn't, you relied on the uncanny sense of your local guides who seemed to navigate by some invisible map. My own attempts usually resulted in walking in a large circle. After a sandstorm, the landscape is transformed. Dunes reshaped, tracks erased, everything coated in a fresh layer of sand. You'll find it in your pockets days later. A little souvenir from the Gobi's more aggressive side. It's all part of the charm, feeling like a human sandcastle slowly eroding. Camping in the Gobi. The brochure showed a serene tent under a million stars. The reality? The stars are spectacular, no light pollution, just celestial brilliance. But finding a flat, rock-free spot to pitch your tent is a quest. The ground is all sharp stones, lumpy earth, or shifting sand. My 5-star sand dune suite offered limited protection against the elements. The wind buffets the tent relentlessly, creating a soundtrack that's part lullaby, part horror film, and the temperature swings, scorching by day, freezing by night. Layering is key, as is a good sleeping bag and a better tolerance for discomfort. Waking up with your breath misting in the frigid pre-dawn air, knowing you have to crawl out into the cold, is a true test of character. Setting up camp became a well-rehearsed ritual. Unload gear, find the least offensive patch of ground, wrestle with tent poles, secure everything against the wind. Instant noodles taste amazing when you're cold, tired, and miles from the nearest restaurant. Or maybe that's just desperation. And then there's the call of nature. In a landscape with no cover, finding privacy requires strategic planning and a willingness to walk. Despite the challenges, the grit, the cold, the lumpy ground, there's satisfaction in being self-sufficient in such a wild place. And those stars almost make up for the rocks in your back. Almost. After all the sand, wind, questionable food, and grumpy camels, why would anyone willingly subject themselves to a Gobi adventure? The Gobi gets under your skin, literally, in the case of the sand, but also figuratively. There's a harsh, undeniable beauty to its vast emptiness, a sense of stepping back in time to a rawer, more elemental world. It's not comfortable, but it is profoundly real. The challenges strip away the trivialities of modern life. You rely on your wits, your resilience, and your companions. There's camaraderie in battling the same elements, sharing burnt camp food and laughing at the absurdities. These shared struggles become stories you'll tell for years, conveniently forgetting just how cold you were or how much you craved a decent cup of coffee. There's also the sheer sense of adventure. In a world that feels overly sanitized, the Gobi offers genuine exploration. Every day brings new landscapes, new challenges, and the feeling that you're treading where few have trod before. My survival skills were put through their paces. I learned I can function on very little sleep and a diet of mutton and determination. The Gobi is unforgettable because it's so demanding, the grit in your boots, the vastness of the horizon, the warmth of nomadic hospitality. Would I do it again? Ask me after a hot shower and a meal that doesn't involve fermented dairy, but the memories, even the uncomfortable ones, are etched deep. And camels. Definitely camels.